Hi, it has been a while. I'm back in my comfortable seat with a very beautiful cigar, the first third of which I have already smoked. This is My Father, the Judge. Very beautiful cigar. If you're into cigars, you know what this is. If you're not, let me tell you, this is the best cigar of 2024, the winner in the year 2024, and I know why now. Very beautiful cigar got me thinking, and I wanted to do this video for a while, and I've been thinking about how to do this entire work week. So today is Friday. We're in January 2026, and for all you out there that are looking for work, whether you have graduated from a university or lost your job and you're searching for a new job now, I just want to make this video and share my thoughts on how to get a job. I'll also answer the question why you're not getting a job, most likely, and I'll just share with you some of the thoughts that I've had over the past couple of months looking at different type of people at the workplace and listening to my fiance, which is a CEO of a company, where she told me about the profile of people applying and where I have seen the people working for her and at my company where I'm working. I just want to share with you why you may or may not get a job and why some people fail, as well as how you can get a job for sure. So let's first start with why you're not getting a job. Let's say you've been applying, and to you, you think that you have been applying regularly and you think you've done everything you can and you still cannot find a job. Let's first ask the question if you're eligible for what you're applying to. If you're applying for a position where they're seeking for experienced people and you have no experience, you're most likely going to lose to other people who have experience who also applied. If you're seeking a position somewhere where it's not going to be found, just as an example, if you're looking for an aerospace engineer job in a city where there's no aerospace industry, then you're going to fail. If you have applied to 20 plus places and you haven't heard back, it's probably because either there's too many applicants at very high competition, or your timing is off. Maybe you're applying in the summer when everybody's on the break and new applicants are not the priority, or the economy or just the general job market in that city or location wherever you are is suffering. It isn't true that you can always expect to hear back, because although it is your application to find a job, it's not always it's your priority to find a job, okay? But it's not always the priority of those hiring to find new employees. Sometimes they start hiring way beforehand. And so they're not really prioritizing looking at new applicants. Now, it depends very much on the country where you're applying to if you're gonna get the job or not. But in countries where the population density is huge and where the number of new applicants or new graduates is seasonal and huge, you're most likely not going to get so many chances to have an interview or just to pass through the first stage of application, because while you're applying, either other people are going to be applying, or while you're applying, the HR is just going to be overloaded, so that they're not going to be looking at your application with much detail. Another reason why you may not be getting a job is because to you your CV may look perfect, but to them it's not really meeting the requirements the company has at that time. If they're looking for a designer that can design XYZ and you are a designer that can design XYZ, but you wrote it at the end of your CV, and at the beginning there is all type of stuff about you that's irrelevant to the position, then of course you cannot expect the HR manager to notice that you are eligible for that position the first thing they do when they see your CV. You have to make sure that you prepare a CV that is going to align with the requirements, with the needs of the company or position you're applying to at that moment. Sometimes it happens that a company fires a person and they are looking for a replacement. And if you know what that replacement is supposed to be like or look like, and if you have those skills or those capabilities, you have to write them at the beginning, at the top of your CV. The chronology is important, so you have to categorize it like experience, and then, education, then hobbies, etc. But you have to put what they're looking for above everything else. Not what you like about yourself above everything else, what the position of the company is looking for above everything else. Don't lie to yourself when applying. Don't pretend like you fit a job when you know you don't, and don't expect them to come back to you if you know you don't fit. At the same time, remember that not all of the companies are fair. Many companies have racist HR. Many companies have people that really don't care about the process, and they may be going through difficulties in life themselves, and they would not appreciate or prioritize your application. If you're looking for a job, it is your responsibility to make sure that you are looking for the right thing for you, and that you're doing everything to reach the HR. Whether you have applied or not, you have to make sure that your application goes through and that they see you. If possible, write them emails again. If possible, get their phone number and call them. Don't be shy, but don't be pushy. And if you don't hear them call you for the second or the third interview, if they forget about something, don't be shy. You have to text them, you have to write to them. Because it is your priority to get a job. Don't act like they need you. You need them. Hence, you have applied. So you need to show that you still want the job, you're still waiting, because many people are compassionate and have empathy, and therefore, if they see that they are making you wait, they would do it faster. And just make sure that you show that you understand that it is a position where you fit and you want to fit in there. That brings me to another point. It's a very important point. If you're living in a developed country, not a developing country, a developed country, you have to understand that getting a job is an exchange of value. So you have to propose your value, whereas the company proposes their value. When you propose your value, you propose your skills, you propose your expertise, you propose your knowledge. You propose your something that you have that the company doesn't have. Whereas the company is proposing back the benefits, whether it's the monetary benefits like the salary and the bonuses, or just the other amenities such as, a comfortable, working time, 35 hours a week of work, or 45 hours of work a week. Depends on what the company proposes, but it's a value exchange. And if the company is ready to offer you something valuable, you have to be ready to offer them something valuable. There's no company in the world which is going to succeed, which is going to hire people not thinking about the value they're going to provide. If you're a company, you're looking at ways to cut costs and maximize profits. So why would you hire somebody who's going to not do anything for your profits but cost you money, right? Now let's say you fit all of those boxes. You have applied at the right time, you know your abilities, so you apply to the right job. You have a really beautiful profile, a really nice profile, you have a value to propose, but they're not replying. But you're not having success. You get rejected everywhere. Then you should do the following thing, and I'll guarantee you will get a job if you do this one thing. I'll guarantee you, as a person who has a very scientific and a statistical approach to everything he does in life, that you will get the job. You have to apply to a new position every single day until you get a job. Not until you get an interview, until you get a job. I promise you, you will get a job. And it makes sense, because until you get a job, you will keep on pushing, you will keep on striving, you will keep on exploring, you will keep on getting out of that box, out of that limitation that you put in front of you, that you need to apply to 5 positions or 10 positions. Your expectations will, your impossible expectations of getting a job after 10 applications or 20 applications will get negated, because you will be applying to plus 20 companies, and until you get that job, you have to be applying. Don't worry, you will get that job. You just have to continue applying. Do the favor for me. Make 1 application a day, and you will find out pretty soon that there's enough companies that you didn't know about, there's enough positions that you didn't hear about, there's enough people looking for workers, and that there's plenty of opportunities for you. So that's one thing that I did, and that's how I found my job. Now let me tell you something about waiting, because I've waited for a while. When I finished my master's in aerospace, I thought that the world is gonna open its hands to me and I will just come inside, hug it, and have a beautiful life. But that's not how it went. For 6 months I was applying without success. What I actually did is I started applying and I waited until companies reply. I didn't make 1 application per day. I did 1 application every 2 weeks. I thought that when I applied, the companies are going to automatically respond. But that's not how it works. Some don't even care about your application, so you should not get caught up in that. So I was applying and I saw that there is no success, and I decided to use this rule that I told you about a few minutes ago, where I applied to 1 position every single day. I made a custom CV for each position, a custom cover letter explaining what I am, who I am, what I do, what I offer, and what I expect. And I even had to make personal emails to each company. Wherever I texted the CEOs, and wherever I could find, I texted the HR managers, and I tried to follow all of the LinkedIn applications, the website applications, and whatnot. And I was applying. So when I got my first interview, and that's the first interview that I got out of 30 applications, I got super excited. I went on the LinkedIn, I checked the company's profile. I checked who they have in the company, and I tried to understand what the need of the company is. And I realized that they're missing a certain type of engineer, and I am that engineer. So I said, in the next day's interview with the CEO, I am going to show him that I am that person who he doesn't have in the company, so I proposed my value. So the next morning, I had an interview with the CEO. I read everything about their products and the company on the website, so I told him that I know everything about the company, and I showed him that I'm informed. And that's a very important point. And he liked me, so he gave me a meeting a week later. A week later, I went to his office and I sat with him, and we agreed on what he's going to give me, and we agreed on the salary range, and he told me that he's going to send me the job offer the next week. The next week came and there was no job offer. I waited, I didn't text him. Another week passed by, there was no job offer on the table, so I decided to wait again. 3 weeks passed, and that's the moment I decided to write. He didn't respond. 4 weeks passed, I texted the HR manager. And I said, Miss HR Manager, I have applied to this position, I hope you remember me. I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. And I told her that I'm still open for the position, and I said that I'm still hoping to get an answer from her. I didn't act cool because I wasn't cool. I was the one looking for work. I was the one ready to propose my value to the company. So I said, I'm still waiting for you. If you still have that position open, then I would gladly take it. She didn't recognize me. Another week passed, they didn't answer. So after 6 weeks, I decided to call the HR manager and I said, greetings, Miss HR Manager. I hope you remember me. She said, I don't remember you. I said, I'm that person who you promised that you will be giving the job offer a few weeks ago. She said, yeah, perfect, nice, I remember you now. I'll send you the job offer next week. I said, perfect. On the 7th week, I didn't get any job offer. I decided not to call her. On the beginning of the 8th week, I said, this is not normal for a company, so let me call her. I called her and I said, Miss, I'm waiting. She said, we're figuring out your salary. So they didn't figure out my salary yet. They wanted to make me an offer. They were figuring it out. It took them 2 months. I said, I'm still ready, but I can't wait for too much. So please send me that offer. At that point, it was my third or fourth reaching them. And so I was a little bit more confident about what I can and cannot say. You cannot do that in the first call, okay? You need to make them understand that they promised you something and that you are a valuable person, so they have to come back to you with something. Anyway, on the 9th week, I mailed them and I said, one person can only be jobless for this much months, and I cannot wait any longer for your response. If you do not send me a response by Friday, I'll continue looking for work. And that's the moment when they decided to send me the job offer, and they did, and I signed it, and I started working. Now, what I'm trying to tell you by this is that if they make you wait, you have to wait a certain time. But never, ever, ever rely on them coming back to you if you don't remind them about yourself. Because a company could have 1,000 things going on at the time when you're applying, and maybe you're not the number one priority. Maybe you know you're beneficial to them, but they don't know yet. So remind them about yourself after a while, but don't be too pushy. You have to judge the situation. If financials are getting too tight, if you are just in a situation where you need the job for other reasons, you have to make sure that you deliver it to them, that you tell them about this, and that you try to reach not only one, but 2 or 3 people in the company to remind about yourself. And that's when they're going to prioritize you. And the rest of this video is going to be for those who are wondering what's wrong with them and cannot find a job. There's nothing wrong with you, per se. But with respect to the company or the position, there is something wrong with you, and that's the reason why you're not getting a job. It could be either that you think you're enough, but you're not enough in the company's eyes. I'm not saying you're not enough. You could not be enough in the company's eyes. It could be that it's not the right time at the company because they still have the employee they will be replacing soon, but they're not sure if they want to hire or not. It just could be that the position is open, but it's not there anymore. It's open on the internet, but the position was taken. It could be that. But you should not be looking for a reason from the company. You should be looking for a reason inside. If something's not working, you have to understand that you're not doing enough. So do more. Do more. Apply more. Look for work more. Search more. Call more. Connect more. Go to events. Yes, there are fairs. Go to fairs and network. I had to shake hands of so many CEOs that I would never think I would have to, but I had to because the job market in Germany was shit. And I have to tell you, you have to go through this because you want the job. So you have to go through this, otherwise you're not gonna get a job. They don't know who you are. They don't have to give you a job just because you graduated or because you think you have experience. You have to prove it to them. So you have to do whatever it takes to prove it to them that you're worth it until they understand it. But if you're not worth it, If you think you're not enough, then do not get sad and stop improving whatever. You have to day and night improve in the area where you want to get a job, but you're lacking the skills. If you need to improve your language, then learn 10 words a day. At the end of the month, that will be plus 300 words, and that's a lot. If you need to improve your coding skills, then go ahead and start a course and you will get there. If you need to improve your social skills, then read about it and improve your social skills, because you will need that when the work starts. Do not sit and mess around. Just improve. And when the work starts, you will definitely be reaping the beauty of the seeds that you have planted a few months or a few years ago when you started improving. I promise you that's gonna happen. So don't lose your hope. You got it. Continue applying, continue improving yourself, and know that it's all about value proposition. So when it comes to an interview or to a meeting, you have to propose value. You have to show something that you have, that they will be paying you for. And you have to make sure that it aligns with the company's needs at that place and that time, okay? You have to make sure that you're not unrealistically high with your salary expectations and unrealistically low with your workload expectations, because believe me, getting a job is hard. Once you get it, you will cross that line of struggling and you will negotiate your salary up and your workload down, but first get a job. And for that, do everything I said in this video and tell me about it in the comments. And I hope you just get it.